Thank you for tuning in to Married with Attitudes, where we discuss whatever the hell we want.
Whatever the hell we want. And I am one of your hosts, Leroy,
One of my hosts.
one of the host of this podcast, Leroy, and my wife, beautiful wife you are, Crystal.
Yes, I am the wife, Crystal. And we are starting a podcast. This is our first one.
Should be fun. Basically, just kind of, we go on a lot of rants 24/7, talking about things in this household that probably everybody talks about in theirs. Like, I don't know, what food do you like better? Who do you think would win an election? I don't know. There's a billion different topics.
Like whatever is in the news. Like, for instance, Kanye West is in the news right now, which we're going to touch on a bit today. And instead of doing our rants in our household, we're actually going to podcast them. And so I personally didn't know anything about the Kanye West interview with TMZ until Leroy told me about it.
Yeah, true.
And so tell me something about a comment that Kanye made about slavery. And I hadn't heard about it. I knew everyone was mad at Kanye. I didn't know why.
Well, I mean, it stems from, it's a bigger thing than that, right? So it stems from people were upset because he posted a picture of himself wearing a Make America Great Again hat.
Right. So I did see the video. Leroy did show it to me. Some interview on TMZ where they brought Kanye on, and they showed the picture of him wearing a Make America Great hat, and then kind of asked him about it, I guess. Asked him about why he wore the hat, and was it to show that he was pro-Trump or whatever the case may be. And then, are you going to talk at all?
I am definitely talking. I'm listening. I chime in when it is time.
Okay, so I guess Kanye's explanation was something like, well, I just want to show that I can do whatever I want to do when I want to do it type thing. He never actually came out and said, I support Trump. I mean, he did say, like, Trump's
He's
my
his boy.
Yeah.
But I mean, in this day and age, what rapper or what artist, period, doesn't say that, like, Trump is his boy? I think it's a misconception that a lot of these entertainers and artists, or whatever you want to call them, come out and they say things like, like, I don't support him for these reasons, but these are the same people who've either had, some kind of affiliation with them in the past, which I think is one of the dumbest things ever. If that's who you like, if that's who you want to, you want to hang with, hey, by all means, do what you do.
Well, here's the thing. I think what it is them, because Kanye is a black man, that he should not be supporting Trump, and that it's a surprise that he's supporting Trump, especially after being the same one that said that Bush doesn't care about black people. People have this association with Trump as being like anti-black.
But the issue there is not because he came out and said that back when when he said it when Bush was president after when Katrina was happening and all this other good stuff. But it wasn't because he just was like anti-Bush. He said it because it was the heat of the moment. And at the time, that's how he felt. It wasn't, it's not like he just goes out and says, I just can't stand George Bush. That doesn't make any sense. But I think people perceive it in the way they want.
Well, the perception is that he disliked Trump for not caring about black people, and that now he's supporting... Oh, I messed that up. He disliked Bush. And then now he's supporting Trump, who is, for some reason or other, is like a figure of somebody that's anti-black or pro-white or whatever the case may be. Like, I don't know how Trump got this image, but his image is that he is anti-black or something like that. And then I don't know how I can't remember how the interview transformed into him saying that, talking about slavery.
Well, he was just going on his, he going on this Kanye West binge, what he does, and he goes on his little rants talking about whatever he can, and somewhere down the line he ends up saying, well, I think of slavery, and I look at it as, and I say, like, 400 years, he was a slave, all these people were slaves for 400 years. I mean, that just sounds like a choice, and I understand what he was saying. I don't know if
slavery is a choice.
I don't know if I would have said it in that way.
So the first thing that people had issue with was that he was wearing a Trump hat. And the second thing that people had an issue with was that he said slavery is a choice.
Says, when you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of you. It's all of y'all. It's like we're mentally in prison. I mean, so I think it got cut off at the point where when we first seen it, it was 400 years, like, that's where it ended. It sounds like a choice. And then it got left out, like, you're mentally in prison. So I understand what he's trying to say. Like, mentally in prison, like, he's trying to tell you, like, like, all these years, people that are here as of right now are still have that enslavement mentality. It's not like he's saying that it was just a bad choice. I don't know. I'm trying to say I think it was like a bad choice of words and how he said it.
I don't think it was a bad choice at all.
Probably not.
I mean, he said that slavery, he feels like slavery is a choice. Slavery is a choice. That's basically what he said.
Yes.
That sounds like a choice.
He said
his words were, that sounds like a choice.
Yeah.
I don't think he said anything wrong. I think what it did was, I think it upset people emotionally to kind of say, like, that they chose to be slaves. But I don't think that's what he meant. I think what he meant was the circumstances that there is a lot of slaves and that there could have been the choice to rise up together and fight back and choose not to be slaves. But there has to be understanding that this was something that was mental. Like, you are in a foreign land that you don't know, and you're brought here by people who promised you better, and instead they enslave you, and you don't have anywhere to go. So even if you get up and fight, where are you going to go? Because this isn't your land.
True.
But I think what Kanye was basically trying to say was, why not get up and fight? You taking this abuse and taking this slavery had to have been a choice. You chose not to fight. Yeah. Is what he was trying to say.
To that effect, I would look at it and say, yeah, I like I said, I understand what he was trying to say. I look at it and I say, like, I'm not saying that I am anti-black or, I love whites or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? I'm, like, always level-headed in the middle type of a guy. And for years, since I've been taught about this topic of slavery, I've always said the same things. It doesn't matter what anybody says. I don't care what you think about me. But I've always said the same things. Like, wait, you mean to tell me that for all these years we were enslaved and not one person could stand up and say, you know what, man, I'm not taking this anymore. We gonna do something about this.
I'm sure there were a few.
I'm pretty sure there was a few too.
I'm pretty sure they're not here with us anymore.
But then, you know what, the problem with that is, if somebody's trying to lead, of course you have to have a following.
You have to have followers.
And if you don't have that following, bad things are going to happen to this guy. They're going to make an example of him, and everybody just kind of shuts down.
I mean, maybe 400 years too late, but the civil rights movement, that's what that was. Martin Luther King over here deciding, I'm, not going to give up my seat on the bus, or I'm going to do sit-ins, or I'm going to, lay in the road. That was taking action against, that was for change.
But that's after slavery. That's not.
But what I'm saying, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if that was put into the time of slavery, maybe they could have had results earlier rather than waiting until the Martin Luther King movement when they were already technically set free.
But you can't have that. You can't have that because they weren't free at the time of slavery. Like, you know, like it's like,
but it was okay.
How are you gonna?
Why was the civil rights movement effective? It was effective because there was resistance.
Okay.
And they resisted to follow whatever the white man was telling them to do. So you apply that same technique back in the days of slavery. If all the slavery said, no, I'm not going to pick cotton, I'm not going to do your chores, or whatever the case may be, I'm not going to be a slave. If they all stood together and did it, and they couldn't get anything out of these guys, then wouldn't it have been somewhat effective?
Possibly.
Or they could have just killed them all off, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, we got to think about it's. I don't know. It
was something about it being a change in the law that made it more effective, I guess. What you're trying to say is, well, they were free now, so now they had more chance to make a change by making those choices.
Yeah. When you're not free, it's a change of things. Like, so if you know, let's put it this way: you're not a free man or woman, whatever case may be, and you're a slave, and they say, you know, go do this, and you just refuse. What happens next?
You get whipped.
Okay. So there is no way that you're gonna have to be like, there's no way that you as that person is gonna be like, oh, well, I'm not going to do this, and we're not going to do this, because I'm pretty sure everybody behind you will be like, well, Master ain't whipping me. You know, look at you like you crazy.
But that was a problem with slavery, though.
Well, yeah.
If you think about it, because there wasn't going to be enough people to stand up and defend themselves.
Okay, that's true.
That's why it wouldn't work. But what I'm saying is, what if you applied that type of technique in slavery where everyone is with you? Everyone's with you, and they're all going to stand up and say, no, we're not doing this. We're going to fight back. I mean, I think part of slavery, part of the reason why they were enslaved to begin with was because white men feared them anyways. There's a fear factor in there.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that. I've always believed that. But anyway, sorry, just back on topic here. I get what you're saying, but I also have to look at it as, you know, I think that people took what he said and kind of twisted it to make it sound way worse than what he was saying. You know, like, it sounded like a choice. Okay, whatever case may be. But that's
I think they heard it as you chose to be slaves.
Yeah.
It's your fault. Like it was a fault that was put on somebody. I think that's why people got upset. But I don't think that's what Kanye was trying to say at all.
I don't think that's what he was trying to say. I just think I think he's trying to tell you that you still have that enslavement in prison type mentality where, you know, all of you feel like y'all are just picking on me, and that's not what we want to come out of this. You know, you can't change something if you're not going to stand up and have a conversation with the people that you think are doing you wrong. Like I said, there was a lot said in that conversation that I mean, that's not that I don't know that I can agree with and disagree with. Kanye is a brilliant mind, like brilliant.
I think he said something that people have probably thought before, and he just said it out loud, and it was one of them forbidden things that you can only think in your head but not say out loud. Like, you think people haven't thought, well, you were slaves back then, why didn't you do something about it when you were a slave? You don't think people thought that? And I'm pretty sure people have thought of ways that, you know, the African Americans didn't have to be slaves. Like, maybe they could have risen up or done something. He said it, and now it's like, oh, you're not supposed to say that. What are you doing? That's something you only keep in your head. And he said it out loud, which is something that Kanye is notorious for doing anyway.
Well, because we know how this world works. I can't speak for everybody, but I think that sometimes this world works in a way to where you can't say a certain thing without being chastised and ridiculed about it.
That's social media.
It's very difficult. And then when you do say something like, you know, like I said before, there was parts of that was played the first time. There's parts that weren't. You know, that wasn't. So you heard him talk about the 400 years, and, you know, then all of a sudden it goes into him having a conversation back and forth with the other guy that was there. You know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things where we only see what you want me to see, and then when we get the full story of it, we realize that there's wasn't being said the way
there's always
they
more
wanted
to
us to think it was being said.
Social media is notorious for grabbing bits and pieces of stories and feeding it to you for you to do with it what you will. That's what social media is. It's something where oh, look, he said this, and then you use that one little piece of information, which may have had other facts around it, and just build a story off of it and get upset or build an opinion over it because that's what they want you to do. That's what social media is about. Or what True. Trump calls it fake news. He's not lying.
Oh, yeah, it's nitpicking. It's nitpicking, and that's the part that sucks the most. But hey, what can you do to change that? Like, that's the way this world works, right?
Yeah. So, I don't think Kanye was wrong. I think he spoke his mind. Freedom of speech. Speaking what you want. That's what it is. And then you get to have your opinion on it. Now, whether you're mad about it or not, Kanye's not going to care. Kanye's going to do Kanye. He's going to say whatever he wants to say.
Kanye's Kanye. Like, what can anybody do about it? Like,
I mean, he mentioned that the Crips were after him or whatever the case may be, or that they said that they were gonna beat him up when they saw him. and
all he said was, "Oh, that's you're gonna beat me up." That's like that's love. They gonna beat some sense into me, type of thing. I get that because coming from the hood type of a guy, you understand that because you look at it and you say, "Well, I said something wrong," and the only way they can get their point across to me and think that they're gonna tell me the right thing is by beating me up. I mean, it happens. It's gonna happen, but I doubt it actually happens to him. Yeah.
So, anyways, I guess my ultimate view on it is, one, I don't care anyways. It's Kanye West. And to be honest, whether he feels that way or not, or he's really passionate about what he said, ultimately he has an angle. So he's probably getting his name out there for whatever else he's trying to promote, or whatever the case may be. People shouldn't be so mad about what Kanye says anyways. And I mean, he's a rapper. He's an entertainer.
He is. One of the best.
He's not God. He doesn't have any say over what happens in your life. So really, you shouldn't take anything he says personally. But it's a good topic.
That's a great topic. I think if you want more controversial type of talking, that's one of the best things that you can have there. One of the topics that we come across a lot is probably that, and how I think about talking about Kanye and how he feels sometimes and what he's saying, and I think about, like, people aren't gonna like it, but that's his freedom of speech, right? Like, that's his thing. Like, you can't take away what you can and can't say. So, I mean, of course, I'll say that for a topic for another day, but that's his God-given right.
Yeah, and it's what sets him apart from everybody else. I mean, it's what set Trump apart from everybody else. If you think about it, Trump and Kanye have a lot in common when it comes to their words.
Well, that's why he said that's his boy.
They're going to say what they say. They don't care, what you think about it. Matter of fact, we have somebody pretty close to us in our family that's going to say whatever she wants, and nobody... she's not going to care what anybody thinks. And for me...
I love that about
her. For me, that's just, that's how I am. That's how you are. We don't have a lot of friends, but, we're real. And real recognize real. I mean, we're going to say whatever we want. And you can be hurt by it, or you can just take it at, for what it is. Take it
I've always said that if you don't like it, then you don't have to be around me. You don't have to talk to me. That's fine. But I'm going to say it anyway. That's how my world works.
Well, the good thing about our family is that our family is really, really big on debates and saying what we want to say and not getting... I mean, we get passionate, yeah. Sometimes we have some heated conversations. But
it's all in good fun, though.
It's all in good fun, yeah. We don't... At the end of the night, we all still love each other. We're still husband and wife. We're still family, with our brother and sister and parents or whatever. And we can respect each other for our opinions. We can share our opinions. We might bash each other every once in a while, but at the end of the day, we respect each other and we respect each other's opinions. And that's really what freedom of speech is about.
Yes.
It's about having the will to be able to share your opinion and being able to voice, your comments on other people's opinions as well.
True. And saying all that, it's a great thing to do here. To have this little podcast that we're starting, it's going to be fun. It's going to have a lot of different topics on it. Y'all stay tuned and become a part of this family with us. It should be great. We'll end up having other people come around every once in a while,
we'll have guests that will come and have different topics. And like I said, we're a married couple, and both of us have sometimes very separate opinions that are totally different. But
a lot,
which is why we decided to call this Married with Attitudes, because we're married, we're together, but we have so much passion for what we believe in. And sometimes it's totally
has way more passion than I do.
Totally different.
She really believes in things.
But like I said,
we're gonna the aliens. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna talk about whatever the hell we want to.
I think we're gonna talk about aliens too.
And it's probably the next podcast will probably not be about aliens. I can tell you that.
Oh, see, so it's just
ridiculous. Attitude. Aliens are not real.
Attitude.
So
disrespectful. Okay.
We'll with the people in our family, we might have to talk about aliens, but it's not gonna be anytime soon. So anyway, stay tuned. We'll be around, and let me know if you have any ideas for topics, or even if you want to be a guest on the show. It's fine. We would love it. Actually, we would embrace it. So we would love to have somebody besides each other to
come around, sit at the table, talk with us. It's gonna be fun. I'll probably have somebody on who speaks a lot of, wrestling topics too. That should be great.
We're a big WWE
He's like a family.
He's
like my boy. We're family. So we'll see how that goes. And anybody out there who wants to just come around and talk, let's do this. We'll see if we share an opinion or difference of opinion, and we'll go from there.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for tuning in again, and have a great night.
Love, peace, and we out.
Bye.